Hi, my name is Sara Miller and I'm the project director for the Education for the Children Foundation here in Guatemala. I wanted to take the opportunity to update all of you on our response to COVID-19 and how it has impacted our local communities and students' lives. The school has now been closed for 3 weeks and we will remain closed until at least the end of April. It's been a wild ride full of last-minute government mandates, increasingly stringent restrictions, and a big learning curve for everyone. But we are figuring out how to navigate this crisis, along with the rest of the world. As a result of government restrictions put in place to limit the spread of the virus, the vast majority of our families are now completely out of work, and have been for several weeks. Many of our families live hand to mouth, using what little they make each day to feed their families. In response, we leapt into action to combat this increased food insecurity by organizing additional food aid with your support. There are several government restrictions in place, one of which is a strict curfew which prohibits being outside of your house between 4 p.m. and 4 a.m. Everything closes by 2 so staff can get home. All of these measures are positive measures put in place to combat the virus, but as you can imagine, it made organizing nearly 400 food hampers on short notice very complex. We started at Plan A and we're at Plan X by the end of it. Every time something fell through or a new restriction was announced, we found a new option and started over. In the end, the Bodegona local grocery store was amazing and came through for us. They did so on short notice, short-staffed, and with limitations to the stock. We were worried restrictions would increase, making the food distribution even harder. And more than that, children were hungry now. There just wasn't time to wait. We were very relieved when we were finally able to pick up the food last Tuesday and confirm the distribution with families. While we were waiting outside the store to start loading the food, a student's mom happened to walk by. She told us she was heading home having just been laid off from her job and that her husband had been laid off a couple weeks beforehand. It was heartbreaking to see this very positive and engaged mom standing on the street just so overwhelmed and sad. But at least we were able to give her the food hamper the very next day. And despite how hard the next few months will be, at least she'll be able to feed her kids and know that she has the support of a foundation behind her in Jocotenango and a whole world full of people behind them who made the aid possible. Over 30 people, from staff to family members of staff to former employees and scholarship students, turned up starting at 5 a.m. to bag all of the food, which included local staples like beans, rice, oatmeal, and pasta. It took us about 6 hours to bag. 315 families made it to the school that day. They walked, hitched a ride with a friend, tracked down a tuk-tuk, whatever it took to make it to the school on time to pick up the food they needed. Some of our families who live very far away made it in right on time. It was incredible to see the level of resourcefulness, but it also makes you realize how much they needed the food. You don't walk that far if you don't really need it. Our chef Eric drove early in the morning to deliver hampers to families who live in another department from where the school is located. He was stopped, but they let him through because he was transporting humanitarian aid. We are now up to 374 families and will find a way to contact the missing few this week. It was truly amazing how many people showed up during their vacation to help the kids and their families. Everyone worked so hard, so quickly in the hot April sun. People were so happy to see each other too. We work on top of each other day in, day out in a high energy, emotionally charged environment. So working alone from home has been one of the greatest challenges of all for a staff that feels more like a family. This was an update on the food aid, but there are so many other initiatives that are taking place. It has taken a lot of creativity and a lot of adapting, but everyone is striving to make sure our students get the emotional, nutritional, and educational services they need. The building may be shut, but the work continues. Over the next few weeks, you'll be able to hear from the department heads to get more specifics on how their services are continuing. We want to share bits of our new normal here with you. From teaching videos to kids filling challenges at home, you might even be able to check out some sweet dance moves from Profe Guillermo. We are so beyond grateful and humbled by the support EFTC has received from all of you. The amount of money raised for the food aid campaign, the emails and texts checking in, the letters written from sponsors to students. Because of you, they have food for the next month. Because of you, our services are still running and our staff is still on payroll despite the economic challenges around the world. Because of you, we will reopen the school as soon as it is safe to do so, and we will once again be surrounded by joyful chaos and see all those sweet faces. I cannot thank you enough for continuing to help us through this.